Hello, Nigeria. Top of the evening to you, wherever you may be. I am Becky Madujemu. Welcome to Newsline. Now, most of us think a boulevard is just another word for a street or a stretch of road. But it's actually that and some extra, as you would see in an urban northern city. The sights are appealing. Like the fascinating art pieces we have laid out for your appreciation, you will also get a chance to meet the talents behind the impressive crafts. And there's a funny one in the mix. It's about the lies you tell, why you can't help but tell them, and what could happen if falsehood remains your mantra. Expect a bit of drama in that feature because the handler is good at putting up a show. In between all of this, we intend to revisit the issue of violence against women. Please don't roll your eyes. You won't stop talking about domestic violence. In fact, we shouldn't. Then again, it's up to discuss it right now as Lagos State is on to people who abuse women. Find out how the agency in charge plans to curb the trend. This is just a teaser. More will be added when we are done with tonight's news. Lydia Ochi is reading tonight.
Thank you, Becky. Welcome to the news. The high-level retreat on terrorism and violent extremism organized by Nigeria and the Kingdom of Jordan has ended in Akaba with a firm resolve by the participating heads of states to chart a pragmatic course towards countering the hateful violence being committed by what they call deranged people in the name of Islam. They say a counter-narrative must be developed as well as an effective information-sharing mechanism for preemptive measures. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to coordinate a collective security arrangement in West Africa to tackle the source of violent extremism in the region.
The Akaba retreat on security arrangement between West African nations led by Nigeria and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan was held behind closed doors. It provided the opportunity for experience sharing towards bolstering security and military cooperation in the fight against terrorism. President Muhammadu Buhari, who briefed the meeting on the Boko Haram insurgency, said his government had found similarity in narratives, objectives, and operational modalities between the group as well as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. He expressed the belief that a regional and global approach to prevent and counter violent extremism through stronger and well-coordinated collaboration is critical.
Where the international community can best assist was with intelligence sharing. You know, Mr. President pointed out that there was a real need for that. So there's going to be, probably hosted in Abuja, a follow-up meeting with the intelligence community to look at the sharing of intelligence amongst the member countries. And an important component of that is going to be sharing information on the foreign fighters coming out of this part of the world, the Arab world, and sharing information on those individuals so that preemptive measures can be taken.
Speaker after speaker at the meeting looked at the social, economic, and religious dynamics of terrorism and violent extremism, pointing out that the belief widely held by the terrorists has nothing to do with Islam, hence the resolution on counter-narrative.
One of the most important deliverable, I would call it, is the whole issue of, in the counter-narrative. So all the countries have agreed that there will be a follow-up meeting on developing a counter-narrative to really put across and get across the true teachings of Islam, a religion of peace and, and togetherness.
Nigeria also made a case for education, job creation, and good governance, as well as the recharging of Lake Chad, whose present condition, President Buhari said, created a conducive environment for the youth to be easily indoctrinated into such destructive ideologies.
International attention is once again being drawn to the unpleasant incidents of terrorism in our region of the world.
The impression I have here now is that the whole world are coming together to find a lasting solution to this menace called terrorism. The world leaders eulogizes Mr. President. He is well appreciated for his role in fighting terrorism, in providing good governance and good leadership for Nigeria and Africa as a whole.
Addressing terrorist activities is not just by force. You have to look at the economy, you have to engage the youths, you have to make them busy. Sometimes, out of restiveness, they've been coerced into dangerous operations. We need to find avenues to engage our youths.
Apart from the West African leaders, senior officials from Europe, Asia, and North America attended the meeting launched by President Abdullah II of Jordan to maintain international and regional coordination and cooperation in the fight against terrorism holistically. From Akaba, Jordan, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still on security matters, the federal government has assured citizens of adequate security measures to thwart any possible terror attack in the Federal Capital Territory and elsewhere around the country, saying there is no cause for alarm despite the latest travel advisories by some Western countries. In a statement issued in Abuja, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said security agencies have not let down their guard despite the fact that there has been no terror attack in the FCT since the Buhari administration assumed office. The minister said the terrorists, who have been massively degraded and put on the run, have been looking for soft targets to attack. The statement added it is the nature of terrorism all over the world, as can be seen in recent attacks in the UK, France and Egypt, amongst others. The minister added that it is the reason why Nigerian security agencies have continued to be on the alert, even if their efforts have been largely unobtrusive so as not to disrupt the daily activities of the citizenry. Lai Mohammed maintained that the federal government will continue to take adequate measures to protect the lives and properties of citizens and non-citizens alike, even as the military remains unrelenting in ensuring that the terrorists neither regroup nor regain the capacity to carry out organized attacks. To this end, the federal government's sensitization campaign on security with the punchline, "If you see something, say something," will be stepped up on national radio and television and advise the citizens to be security conscious and to report suspicious people and objects to the security agencies. Meanwhile, more than 3,000 youths converged on Abuja for annual Peace and Unity Convention aimed at inculcating the right values for raising decent families. Organized by One Ummah, a conglomerate of Islamic organizations, the convention provided opportunity for interactions on challenges of marital life for good citizenship. Usman Aliyu reports.
It's time to ponder about what makes a decent family in an Islamic perspective in view of the contemporary challenges such as marriages breakdown. This convention, therefore, seeks to provide a platform that will guide singles who are mostly the participants here and also the married on the tenets in Islam regarding spouse relationship. In their submissions, speakers were unanimous that spouses must exhibit sincerity, high sense of decorum and trust for a better living.
See, this aspect of courtship, it's very important for us to understand that not only is it, Islamically incorrect, because at the end of the day, we are still strangers to one another before we get married.
If love is lost, this person will not be unjust to you.
Marriage and spouse selection, as we know it usually, should be a family thing where your parents are involved.
We begin to now look at it. Is it personal choice? Is it family decision?
Participants express their feelings on the convention this way.
I think I will start mentoring some people, talk to people too, from what I've learned here so far.
As a responsible parent, I want to be more responsible going forward.
It is hoped that whatever they learn from here would be like a seed being planted in order for them to grow and germinate to something bigger and better.
One Ummah has been organizing public lecture on social issues affecting Muslims, including interfaith dialogue, since 2015. In Abuja, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has formally joined the People's Democratic Party, PDP. A statement by his media office quoted the former vice president as saying he took the decision after consultations from across the country. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Birnin Kudu recalls that the former vice president was in PDP before he joined the APC in its formation in 2014. The former vice president, who served with former President Olusegun Obasanjo from 1999 to 2007 under the PDP platform, was also in Action Congress AC before he rejoined the PDP to contest the 2011 presidential election. The federal government has described as alarming the rate of smuggling agricultural products such as rice, frozen fish, and poultry products into the country. The government says the smugglers are taking advantage of high demand for the products for Christmas and New Year celebrations. Musa Baba Aliyu has that.
Importation of poultry products such as eggs is illegal through the sea or land borders in Nigeria. The government also prohibits the importation of rice and frozen fish through the land borders. The policy is meant to increase local production of the commodities, strengthen the economy, as well as ensuring that Nigerians eat healthy and quality food. In spite of this, the activities of smugglers remain a threat not only to the policy, but also to the socio-economic well-being of Nigerians.
If we are developing our life through importation, then we are at the hands of those from whom we import. That is being careless.
Why are we so weak? Why are there no jobs? Why is there so much poverty? Nobody will buy local things because the importers have powerful connections, they have ships, they have banking facilities, and they persuade opinion makers that it's better and cheaper to import.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture, therefore, warns that consumption of smuggled frozen products, especially fish and poultry, has health implications.
The smuggling of these unhealthy frozen fish into the country is detrimental to the progress being made towards guaranteeing the good health and nutrition of Nigerians.
The rice from Thailand has challenges which they may not want to know. If you grow rice in marshlands for long enough, there are high contents of arsenic.
Nigeria projected to be self-sufficient in rice next year, as the country remains the largest producer of poultry and its products in Africa. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Effective monitoring strategy, enhanced staff welfare and training, as well as improving the quality of locally manufactured drugs and medical products are some of the priorities of the newly appointed Director General of the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Professor Moji Adeyeye. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has the details.
Statistics from NAFDAC and other credible sources cite Nigeria as the world's largest market for fake and counterfeit drugs among developing nations. It is the view of the World Health Organization that the proliferation of fake drugs in Nigeria has affected the credibility of the healthcare system, with the resultant effects of illness, disabilities, and even death. NAFDAC's 24 years of existence has seen 3 chief executives driving the efforts. It is the turn of the 4th Director General of the agency, a professor of pharmaceutics and drug product development, Moji Christiana Adeyeye.
Chemicals, be they in drugs or food or through biocontamination, can kill hundreds of people easily. During my tenure, I will lead the agency toward eliminating substandard, falsified, and unsafe drugs, medical devices, foods, and water.
One cheering news for herbal medicine practitioners is the new NAFDAC's Director General's promise to promote herbal medicine development through the creation of guidance for local manufacturers. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
Now, cattle rustling in northern Nigeria has been a major catalyst undermining livestock development for economic growth and job creation. As a solution to the problem, Kaduna State government, in partnership with MTN Nigeria, launched the MTN Animal Identification and Management Solution. Correspondent Awal Haliru has details.
The technological mechanism by MTN is aimed at controlling the menace of cattle rustling, mitigate farmers and herdsmen clash, increase disease surveillance, as well as provide animal data for strategic decision-making. It is also to lay a solid foundation for restructuring of the livestock, for increased investment and job creation, not only in Kaduna State but Nigeria as a whole. The animal identification and management solution uses RFID scanners, a shortcut to aid law enforcement agents, veterinary inspectors, cattle dealers, and abattoir operators in determining animal ownership.
Cattle rustling is a major problem. So if cattle is lost now, it's easy for whoever has the scanner to check the number, send the short code, and the owner will show up, and the number of the owner, you can call the owner and say, hey, your cattle is here.
Kaduna State Governor Aminu Bello Masari says with this technological mechanism, it is expected that the livestock sector of the economy will be improved.
It is also consistent with the Pretoria Declaration on Animal Identification and Recording, an initiative expected to improve food security, animal genetics, better flock management, as well as animal health and disease control.
Other stakeholders welcomed the concept and pledged to play an active role in order to achieve success. In Kaduna, Awal Halliru, NTA News.
The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says greatness is not by position one holds, but by service to humanity. He stated this at the 50th birthday anniversary of the wife of the governor of Imo State, Dr. Nneoma Rocha-Sokorocha. Sele Osayende reports that the Vice President also unveiled a book titled My Life, His Grace, authored by the celebrant.
Professor Osinbajo said service to humanity, especially to the less privileged in society, is a memorial before God. He commended the wife of the Imo State Governor, Dr. Nkechi Rocha-Sokorocha, for her selfless effort in reaching out to the vulnerable in society. Worthy of note, he remarked, is the pet project of the celebrant in providing shelter for widows.
Of philanthropy, which some would describe as development philanthropy, because it is philanthropy that focuses on the battered dignity of the poor.
The tears of joy that they shared, praising God for you, that you become a monumental legacy in their lives.
Asked me to tell you that you are a dependable woman, very reliable.
My wife is a wonderful woman. She has changed the whole story of women in Imo State.
The launch of the book titled My Life, His Grace, written by Dr. Nkechi Rocha-Sokorocha, which encapsulates her 50-year sojourn on Earth, was chaired by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo.
I believe that God has a word for me. And what is that word? That is a time to go deeper and deeper and deeper, especially the things of God.
Dr. Nkechi Rocha-Sokorocha has authored over 11 books in Owerri. Sele Osayende, NTA News.
And now sports. Nigeria on Sunday played 1-1 with Ethiopia in a 2018 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier decided in Addis Ababa. The second semi-final match of the NCC Tennis League has ended in Abuja with Team Civil Defense progressing to next weekend's final in Lagos at the expense of Team Ofiku. Amanzi Marcos reports.
The 8th edition of the Korean Ambassadors Taekwondo Cup ended in Abuja Saturday, with Team Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps claiming their 5th title with 8 medals comprising 3 gold, 1 silver and 4 bronze, followed by Kumadi Club of Lagos and Team Lagos State in 3rd position. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Solomon Dalung called on good-spirited Nigerians and the public sector to emulate their sponsors in supporting the growth of sports in the country.
I will be asking for more from the Korean government. I mentioned in areas of training centers, sponsorship of more events across the country.
Team Civil Defense of Abuja in blue are through to the finals of the 2017 edition of the Nigerian Communications Commission Tennis League after defeating Team Ofiku 6-1 over 2 days at the center court of the Abuja National Stadium. In the first 4 matches of Saturday, Clifford Enesorobe of Civil Defense beat Sylvester Emmanuel of Team Ofiku 6-3, 6-2. On Sunday, Team Civil Defense won all the 3 matches to set up a final game against Team Mula in Lagos next weekend.
In the first edition, we got to the final. In second edition, we took the 3rd place. And I believe this is our turn to emerge as winner by the grace of God.
Every player wanted to play. They all wanted to play for the team. So we couldn't decide who to and who not to.
The overall winner will go home with 7 million. The semi-finalist or the second to it will go with 5 million. The 3rd place, 3 million. And the 4th place, 2 million.
In basketball, Yobe Rockets in blue are winners of the 2017 edition of the Bauchi Slam Basketball Championship, beating Taraba Hurricanes 66-53 in the final decided in Bauchi. 8 teams from Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba and Plateau competed, with organizers and fans hoping more of such will be organized to discover basketball players for the national teams. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus. NTA News.
And now a quick look at weather forecast.
Good to have you on Monday's weather forecast with meteorologist Suleiman Gurin. Satellite radar shows dust has been in suspension with concentration of moisture soaking the dust over the country, leaving the northern and part of the central cities in sunny and hazy condition. Moderate concentration of dust over part of Sokoto and Yelwa axis. We are seeing the northward pool of ITD as far as 9 degrees north of the equator, leaving the southern central in partly cloudy condition. The inland cities of the south down to the coast will be cloudy to partly cloudy condition. We anticipate mist patches over Lagos and Calabar axis very early in the morning. No appreciable changes in the afternoon and evening hours over northern, central, southern cities, but likelihood of localized thunderstorms over Calabar, Ekiti, Port Harcourt, and part of southwest coast of the country. With current climate condition, NIMET is advising the general public to drink more water, avoid alcoholic and caffeinated drinks at this period. Also reduce the intake of foods that are rich in protein, as it will increase metabolic heat. Vegetable fruits are better options to live a healthy and hearty life. Stay blessed. Keep on watching weather forecast. Up next is temperature details.
And that's the size of the news segment for tonight. Newsline continues shortly with Becky. But first, some messages.
His humility, trustworthiness, patriotism, and love for the common man earn him respect of ordinary Nigerians. Muhammadu Buhari, the people's president, an example of uprightness, doggedness, and a believer of true and progressive Nigeria. 3 years down the line, Nigerians have seen commitment and performance in fulfillment of campaign promises. Peace is gradually returning to the ravaged Northeast, and the entire nation is reaping from it. The economy is being revitalized with special attention to agriculture, and all the natural resources being fully explored to the fullest. The country is winning its war against corruption, with looted funds being recovered to government coffers. Nigerians are saying, "Thank you, Baba. Carry on demand of the people." This message is from
Glow Everyday Bonanza. Over 2,500 winners have already emerged nationwide. With tens of thousands of prizes still up for grabs, don't miss your chance in the Recharge and Win Glow Everyday Bonanza.
My name is Tani Mushishi. I'm always recharged every day. I didn't believe. I don't receive the call that, I want a car from Glow. When everybody wins.
This is Upward Multi-System Hospital.
Funded by a
Upward Multi-System Hospital is established on a 60 hectares of land consisting of 8 blocks of 4 floors each and 1 of 5 floors, equipped with 5 modular theaters, pneumatic tube system, SPEC scan, CT scan, ultrasound scan, X-ray and Tesla MRI, providing general surgery, pediatrics, plastic, urology, orthopedics, neurosurgery, cancer, oncology and endocrine.
It's an excellent facility, very unique and distinct, very up-to-date and modern, and it will go a long way in addressing medical tourism in Nigeria. I will recommend it to any Nigerian.
Upward 400-bed multi-system hospital is to train students, retrain doctors and other paramedical staff, engage in world-class research and provide healthcare of international quality.
This is going to be the best hospital in the whole of West Africa, if not Africa.
Upward, a vision in motion.
Glow Everyday Bonanza. Over 2,500 winners have already emerged nationwide. With tens of thousands of prizes still up for grabs, don't miss your chance in the Recharge and Win Glow Everyday Bonanza.
My name is Tani Mushishi. I'm always recharged every day. I didn't believe. I don't receive the call that, I want a car from Glow. When everybody wins.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
There's no limit to what you can do with data. With Nigeria's widest data network, it's amazing what you can make happen on MTN.
This is my message to you.
Thanks for staying on the line. This happened in Abuja. Oyinaya Kalu Oka says it was a potpourri of excitement, interaction and razzmatazz. It was a Zuma Film Festival which rounded off in Abuja this evening. The nation's capital was agog with activities when film enthusiasts from all over the world converged to rub minds and be rewarded for the best of their works. Let's share in the experience.
Living up to its theme, Feast on Films, the festival witnessed colorful displays that thrilled the audience. With a lineup of activities, participants never had a boring moment. The Zuma beauty pageant, known as the Zuma Face, was unique in the sense that it was not all about being beautiful, but a representation of an intelligent, hard-working African woman. Contestants from the 6 geopolitical zones must not necessarily be indigenes of the zone they represent to foster national unity. The opening ceremony, the celebrity hangouts, and costume party night were all entertaining. The platform facilitated interaction with filmmakers, actors and actresses, as well as financial service providers, rubbing minds on the way forward in the industry.
The real issue is really more with content, it's more with capacity building, it's more with access to funding.
It speaks volumes about what strides we are making in the diversification of the economy.
Film is about peace and security. Film is about unity. Film is about education. Film is not just about glamour and glaze.
Really help them build their standards so they can become a significant place where not only Nigerian films being seen by Nigerians, but also by potentially foreign buyers who may then choose to buy the rights to those films and disseminate them in the rest of the world. So, you know, we absolutely want to support Zuma in their endeavors. It's a very good idea.
The occasion surely showcased Nigeria to the world as the many sides of the Minister of Information and Culture was revealed.
Quand j'étais rentré de Vichy, mon français était plus fort que mon anglais. Mais à force de travailler dans un milieu francophone, j'ai presque oublié tout mon français.
And for former Nigerian's head of state, Yakubu Gowon, age is just a number when it comes to music that touches his heart. For participants, it was a festival like never before. Looking forward to the 2018 Zuma Film Festival.
Festival, if we ever saw one. Thanks for sharing the experience, Onyi. When we heard of this group art exhibition in Lagos by not less than 20 artists, we became curious. Drafted to go have a look-see, Elizabeth Omori came back to say that the exhibition was more than just paint and oil, pencils and charcoal on canvas. Let's see it too.
You may have heard it said, art is life. In different forms, it expresses thoughts, ideologies, cultures, and traditions. In this exhibition titled Provenance, there were 25 artists whose showcase in 40 pieces were exquisite, colorful, and creative. Take, for example, this piece by Emperor, who is a photo artist. It captured the struggle of a kid and his quest for survival.
So that day, I watched him work for over 7 hours, clearing, and the saddest part of it is that his payment for the day was a plate of food.
Some of the pieces had titles like Girls' Party, Mask, Eroding Culture, Africandy, Joyous Reunion, just to mention a few.
I thought of using charcoal, to draw, and it came out so lovely. So along the line, when I had money to buy paint, when I paint, people would rather prefer charcoal. So I stuck to it.
I have children now, so every now and then we go to church and I watch them pray. So sometimes it's really very interesting when you're in the children's department and you see them praying. So I think it's something that we should document. So I decided to paint in that line. And I did this. The title is The Prayers of the Innocent.
As exquisite as these works of art are, these exhibitors are of the opinion that the government should create an enabling platform for Nigerian artists to thrive in order to build a viable art sector.
You can't ignore art. Art is very, very important. Look at any civilization, any history, you can't ignore the art. Art will always play a big role in the narrative.
Where do you actually keep them? Is
the important part of it to me. That's my own view. Preservation, not government view, but my own view. If you are bringing an artifact that have been at the British Museum and you're bringing it to Lagos or Abuja, you must surely have a befitting place to house those artifacts.
Looking at these art pieces, they did not fail to highlight the essence of life and living.
Those were pleasing to the eyes, yet art is very good for the mind too. I know you enjoyed watching that. Now, during the week, Yola, the capital of Adamawa State, came alive. Why? Well, Anthony Forson, who was there, tells us that the town played host to some movers and shakers of the society. There was an elaborate taste of royalty, and this, we are told, enveloped what ordinarily would have passed for the inauguration of a new radio station. Let's see what this is all about, as narrated by Anthony.
Came in trickles, and in no time, the arena was filled to capacity with royalty present. The Minister of Information and Culture was on hand to represent President Muhammadu Buhari. The radio station Pulaku, with bias for full day, in the words of the President's representative, will bring on board a new dimension into radio broadcasting in Nigeria.
Because Pulaku actually is the embodiment of all the good values that a decent Fulani person is supposed to live with. This age of intolerance, hate, this age of hate speech, this age of fake news and misinformation, this station cannot come at a better time. And I believe that you have a very big role to play. One, to disabuse the minds of people about the stereotype, Fulani man.
The radio station for now underscores the desire of modern Fulani people to communicate with themselves. It is also in the quest to reach out to the rest of the world in a typical dialect.
Pulaku in all its ramifications. And what struck me on reading that definition was that the values that are contained in Pulaku are the values that define every decent human being.
In an era of violent conflict between herdsmen and farmers due to grazing, the station wouldn't have come at a better time than now. Founded by the Lamido of Adamawa and Grand Patron Tabito Pulaku International, a Fulani cultural association, Dr. Muhammadu Barkindo Mustafa, who has a vision to save the Fulfulde language from extinction, as well as promote the Fulani cultural values in a multicultural setting. The power of the media, he said, cannot be ignored.
The radio, because of its convenience, ubiquity, cost-effectiveness, and portability, is still highly revered and respected as an exciting companion, reliable source of information, and an influential informer.
Coming on stream with majority of its news and programs in Fulfulde, it will enhance and promote its affiliates of Fulbe culture.
Moving on, one feature that would readily attract a first-timer to the city of Kaduna are some of the streets that are wide and well-tarred with full-grown trees on either side the whole stretch. Some of these trees, we are told, will be, by December this year, 100 years old, counting from when they were planted. And so we bring you this piece on the boulevards of Kaduna City as packaged by Suleiman Abdullah Rigachiku.
Kaduna
home to administrative structures of colonial administrators and northern regional governments. Aside these structures, however, one major attractive feature in the historic city is the presence of boulevards. Wide streets typically lined with trees, windbreak, and beautification, among other ecological considerations, was the rationale behind their planting by the past leaders.
It adds value, aesthetic value to the city of Kaduna. You can see that from this place, you can walk from here to the town because it provides shade. So it makes it easy for one to do sporting activities.
And this is truly a reflection of the Guinea Savannah environment, supported by enough rainfall. And as you can see, as reflected on this canopy of trees, which have overgrown over the years, you will agree with me that they were supported environmentally with all the conditions that it requires for plants to grow.
Aside the astonishing beauty of these trees, economic trees such as mango and cashew, among others, also serve as source of vitamins and aboriginal medicine to the Kaduna residents for decades. As these trees give way for road expansion within the Kaduna metropolis, environmentalists suggest the replanting of more economic trees to avert soil erosion and desertification.
We don't encourage people to cut trees, but when a situation arises that you must cut trees, then you have to, if you cut one, plant two. What I mean, afforestation. Afforestation is good, so that by the time you cut the trees, make sure you planted it, because these trees provide, for example, avenue for sinking of the carbon.
What can be done to maintain the status? Even though we are constructing roads, we can still plant trees at the middle of the road. You create a room for trees to be planted.
The remedy is what is already put in place, as you can see in some of our features of the road, that when a tree is cut down for road construction, another one should be planted, or two should be planted by the side.
No matter what, the general belief is that these trees help significantly in reducing global warming occasioned by various human activities.
The boulevards are breathtaking, I must say. I am certain they will look more spectacular when you visit. Make it soon. The corporate world was agog with activities across the country during the week. We will highlight what some of them did to promote themselves as the best. Stay on the line, be right back.
From 1967 to 1970, Nigeria went through a horrifying civil war. It didn't matter who was wrong or right. Everybody suffered. Those who fought that war say it should never happen again.
So a lot of people will say, but you were leading the first one. Yes, I led the first one. I don't think a second one is necessary. We should have learned from that first one. Otherwise, the dead would have been to no avail, would all have been in vain.
The words of our elders are full of wisdom.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
I started using Mamador. It's healthier and tastier for them. So I know that no matter what I serve to family and friends, it not only tastes delicious, but keeps them healthy as well.
Adama is right. Mamador is cholesterol-free, full of omega oils, and approved by the Nigerian Heart Foundation.
Looks like you're looking after my stomach.
It's your heart I'm looking after.
Mamador, your heart will thank you.
Good afternoon, Mama. Let me get that bag. Oh. Aha!
Hey, thank you, my son. But there's more washing for you to do.
No, Mama. With Omo, it's as if I have the power of 10 hands.
Omo, it's so powerful. It's as good as having 10 hands to wash tough stains. Omo.
Omo with the power of 10 hands.
The Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation welcomes all stakeholders and the general public to a one-day public hearing on a bill for an act to amend the National Orientation Agency Act Cap N100 LFN 2004. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Senator Dr. Abubakar Olubukola Saraki, CON, President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date, Monday, 4th December 2017. Venue, Conference Room 231, second floor, New Senate Building. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Distinguished Senator Suleiman Adokwe, Chairman, Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation, announcer.
Welcome back. We were there in Lagos when Amina Nene Agbato was joined in holy matrimony to the man she loves, Omotola Temitokwe Sholaja. Amina Nene is the daughter of the Deputy Director News at the NTA and producer of this program, Asabi Abubakar, whose joy was visibly boundless as she witnessed her daughter take the bold and positive step into matrimony. Elizabeth Omoriye was there and is set to relay the exciting moments.
Elegant in a beautiful white dress, Amina Nene took those steps down the aisle that would change her status from Miss to Mrs. as the groom waited patiently. Before God and man, the couple took the oath of matrimony, vowing to stick together through thick and thin forever. To do the joining was the pastor in charge of the household of faith of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Shegun Omotosho.
Accept you, Amina Nene Agbato, as my wife. I will nurse and obey according to the will of the Lord till death do us part.
Then the pastor in charge of the Christ Heritage Parish, Pastor Basil, in his exhortation, charged the couple to make the Lord Jesus the pillar of their marriage in order to wade through rough times successfully.
All you need to do is to ensure that this marriage is hinged on God.
The couple thereafter signed the marriage register to seal their union as husband and wife, after which they were introduced to the congregation. That done, guests were entertained at the grand reception. To set the ball rolling, parents of the couple made their entrance into the beautifully decorated hall, supported by their friends. Followed by the couple. Then the traditional cutting of the wedding cake, which, by the way, was baked by the bride, feeding of each other and dance. Some of the guests also hit the dance floor with the couple. High point of the dance session was when the mothers of the couple had one last dance with their children to bid them farewell. But what does the couple have to say about each other? They revealed this much the day before during the engagement ceremony.
He's nice, he's generous, he's a beautiful person inside and out.
She's one very peaceful person to be with, and she's very intelligent, very smart. You can sit down with her and have a very intellectual conversation.
Back to the ceremony. Mother of the bride could not hold back tears at a point as she ushered her daughter into matrimony with prayers. Parents of the couple had nothing but the best of wishes for their children as they begin their life's journey together as one.
They'll be fruitful, they'll be joyous, God will multiply them, and God will give them long life.
God should go ahead of them into their marriage, bear with them, and make the difference in their lives.
And here's wishing Omotola and Amina Sholaja all the happiness they deserve.
The reporter caught the bouquet, and that was a fabulous wedding. Congrats to Amina and Omotola. God bless your home. And of course, congrats to the mother of the bride, who is beaming with pride by my right-hand corner. Kudos for raising a virtuous woman. Moving on, in its continued efforts to give Nigerian youths a pragmatic approach towards enhancing food production, poverty alleviation, and job creation, Total upstream companies in Nigeria, NNPC, NAPIMS, and PSC partners, Petrobras, Sepatro, and CNOOC, have sponsored the training of 60 Nigerian youths in agriculture and catering services at the Offa Institution of Agriculture, Lupono, Osun State. The students have graduated and were at the ceremony.
The Totalpreneur Program, an entrepreneurial capacity development initiative by Total upstream companies, NNPC, NAPIMS, and partners Petrobras, Sapetro, SINAC, with the Offa Institute, had its first baptism in 2016. The success story with the first set became the catalyst for the second edition. The Total team, led by the Executive General Manager Corporate Social Responsibility, Engineer Vincent Nadi, on arrival, took a tour of the 60-acre facility at the Offa Institute. For the 2017 Totalpreneur Program, over 4,000 candidates from various parts of the country vied for the available 60 spaces. After 3 months of intensive training, the Institute graduated the 60 students as their worthy ambassadors.
Total is committed to impacting and improving lives, and as part of our corporate social responsibility, we partner with government and non-governmental organizations.
With the approval of the National Board for Technical Education and the Federal Ministry of Education, assisted us to fashion out a youth-friendly and practically oriented curriculum.
Sharif Amosu, a graduate of accountancy, was the best in agriculture, while Amaka Okpara led others in catering services.
I can face the world no matter the competition outside there.
Some experts at the event gave the Totalpreneur Program full marks.
I want to say thank you to Total for taking these 60 people from below poverty line to above poverty line.
This is a welcome development on the part of Total, because government cannot do it all.
Starter packs were distributed to the beneficiaries to encourage them to take the bull by the horn and break the chains of unemployment by becoming entrepreneurs.
With these ones that have graduated, we follow them up with our methods and this thing and see, do they even, because we need people who can break through.
Looking at the number of applicants, it's an indication that the country needs this kind of training.
To another event, true to its aims and objectives, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees has once again supplied empowerment packages to internally displaced persons in the northeast of Nigeria. Lami Ali reports that they did this in partnership with the American University of Nigeria. The packages, we are told, are worth 60 million naira. Take a look.
These 800 beneficiaries, grouped into 88 cooperative societies, went through 8 weeks of intensive skill acquisition training in various crafts under the UNHCR's Livelihood Empowerment Project being implemented by the American University of Nigeria. Each group will be handed over a starter kit consisting cash and working tools worth 250,000 naira to be used for income generation, having lost everything to insurgency. Head of UNHCR's sub-office in Maiduguri, Cesar Shalombo, described this intervention as historic and a landmark, being the first ever such collaboration between the Commission and an academic institution, and reiterated continuous response to the need of persons of concern in order to make a difference.
Yeah, we make sure that all the intervention that we are doing is providing a durable solution, which means that's a long-term solution, not the population to continue to depend on humanitarian assistance.
AUN is a development university. So while our focus is training students and research, we do that in partnership with solving problems that we find ourselves in. So the Boko Haram crisis and any other crisis that happens in Adamawa State or Northeast is a concern for us, and that's how we got involved with UNHCR.
Speaking on behalf of Borno State Government, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Energy, Mr. Abubakar Hassan, while commending the UNHCR, said the federal government having recognized the enormity of the humanitarian problem came up with a community and social development project targeted at rehabilitating the hundreds of thousands of those displaced by the crisis, 80% of who are women and girls. The beneficiaries were appreciative of the support.
So I can do anything pertaining to tailoring. Farmer is now being an IDP, and then he has changed from farming to be something else, like maybe carpentry, a tailor or something like that, instead of staying idle.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees has from January to November this year supported more than 25,000 people in the Northeast.
This report by Omenka Amarachuku in Abuja is about the milk of kindness of LG Electronics in Nigeria. The company believes in giving back to its host community. That is why in the Federal Capital Territory, it donated 5 units of air conditioners and 350 units of treated mosquito nets to the Kuje General Hospital. Let's see how it was done.
LG Electronics, a leading brand consumer electronics and home appliances over the years, has the interest in the development of technological products across the globe. This, the corporate marketing manager LG Electronics West Africa Operations, Paul Mba, says the items donated are to meet the needs of the health institutions and support people in those communities with excellent healthcare services. Added to this company's gesture is a way of empowering the hospital staff to do their jobs more efficiently to the satisfaction of the benefiting communities. Receiving the items on behalf of the management of Kuje General Hospital, Dr. Ishaku Musa commended LG Electronics and called on other corporate organizations and public-spirited individuals to emulate LG in responding to the needs of health institutions. He affirms their support to the organization to continue to excel in selling its products to the populace.
The gifts we just received from LG will go a long way in improving the services we render to the residents of Kuje. And this is also going to improve the working environment for all the staff of Kuje General Hospital. And what LG has done is something that should be emulated by other corporate organizations. They should learn to give back to the society, especially at this auspicious time when it's difficult for government alone to cater for its people.
Many speakers at the occasion say it is a wake-up call to other corporate organizations doing business in the country to follow suit by identifying with a just cause and contributing their quota to their host communities and the general well-being of humanity.
Still on high-powered event, Malta Guinness, a malt drink from the stables of Guinness Nigeria PLC during the week in Lagos, held its final raffle draw in its Go Get It promo. The company says it is in fulfillment of promises to reward consumer loyalty. Imolayo Tokede reports that checks were also presented to previous winners.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please. I just want to let you know that you won yourself 100,000 naira.
With this, the final raffle Go Get It promo draw by Malta Guinness 13-week promo comes to an end. The brand manager, Malta Guinness Premium Non-Alcoholic Drink, Ifeoma Agu, expressed satisfaction at the success of the brand, which she says has been able to add value to the lives of its consumers.
The beautiful part is that we have rewarded our consumers with a share of 100 million naira in the Malta Guinness Go Get It promotion. And that's why it's actually a national consumer promotion. And we are happy that the testimonies that are coming through from this is actually proving the commitment that we've set out to do, which is to fuel the greatness of Nigerians.
It's been a wonderful promotion, and Malta Guinness has really done it very well. I want to confirm that from start to finish, it was transparent.
Past winners in the promo were presented with their various prizes and checks, with the lucky winners going home with a star prize of 1 million naira each.
The day I received the call, I was just thinking it was all these scammers. If my body is full of mouth, but they not to appreciate you. They not to appreciate you. Malta Guinness.
I'm so happy because I have plenty
They are trying. Let them keep on trying, doing their best for people.
Motor Guinness says the company will continue to initiate laudable programs that will improve the living standards of its consumers across the country.
And big congrats to those winners. Stay on the line to find out what we have on violence against women as the tables have turned. Men are now at the receiving end. A notorious kidnapper meets his Waterloo. Find out how and where as we tell you what help is coming the way of the blind in Nigeria in the area of education. Let's take a break.
Unemployment, notably youth unemployment, features strongly in our party's manifesto. We intend to attack the problem promptly through revival of agriculture.
The 30K is going a long way. Actually, I bought an acre of land for 60K like 2012, and presently I have a cassava farm and a yam farm.
Thank you so much for inspiring greatness in me, Alhaji.
Alhaji?
I am just rehearsing there.
Rehearsing for what?
A life-changing and inspiring meeting.
With who?
Alhaji Aliko Dangote.
With the FGNI app and just 500 Naira, you stand a chance to meet one-on-one with Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, and win cash prizes. As the Be Inspired meetings give Nigerians a chance to meet one-on-one with icons. To qualify for the draw, download FGNI app from Apple Store or Google Play Store. Go to the Be Inspired section and follow the instructions. Cost of travel and accommodation of all winners within Nigeria will be borne by the organizers. Terms and conditions apply.
Proudly supported by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
For the last 24 years, NAFDAC has made steady progress in ensuring that the health of the nation is protected. Our collective responsibility is eliminating substandard, falsified, and unsafe drugs, medical devices, foods, and water.
I urge all Nigerians to support NAFDAC in safeguarding our health. God bless Nigeria.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Radio Nigeria, NTA and Voice of Nigeria set for another time of refreshing carol
at the National Christian Center, Abuja, on the 10th of December 2017 for our season of praise.
Theme: Jesus, our strength and peace.
Featuring the host choirs.
Other choral groups include the Can Choir, Foursquare Gospel Church Choir, and Special Women Church Choir.
Christmas message will be delivered by Reverend Felix Modoe, General Overseer, Foursquare Gospel Church.
The event will be graced by notable Nigerians, including His Excellency Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN. Red carpet starts 1 p.m. prompt.
The event selected for 3 p.m. prompt will be broadcast live. Free transport will be provided to and fro strategic locations. Keep a date with Radio Nigeria, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria on the the 10th of December 2017.
Certainly, you'll be glad you did.
Okay, sir. You may now go in for your interview.
Thank you. Ah, my shoe. And to think I just bought this very expensive foreign shoe 2 months ago.
So sorry about your shoes. This is why I advise my friends to always patronize made in Nigeria products. See this shoe. It's made in Nigeria and I've had it for 2 years and it's still as good as the day I bought it.
Made in Nigeria products are good quality. And stringent government regulations and certification now mean that goods made in Nigeria meet international standards. Make the patriotic choice today. Buy right. Buy Made in Nigeria.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Dual HD back cameras and auto refocus to capture what really matters. 10 times super zoom. See further. 6 GB RAM, 20 megapixel front selfie camera. Techno Phantom 8, capture your legend.
Glad to have you back. For the 47th time in its 57 years in existence, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, has celebrated another milestone in the appreciation of academic excellence and contributions to research and development of humanity and society. The event, which is the 47th convocation of the university, climaxed with the conferment of honorary doctorate degrees on 3 distinguished Nigerians. Chinaye Woye takes the story from here.
The Margaret Ekpo Convocation Arena of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, venue of the event, was filled to capacity with the academia, captains of industries, members of federal and state executive councils, governors of Enugu and Sokoto states, and other distinguished guests who gathered to witness the conferment of about 1,520 postgraduate degrees and diplomas on the deserving graduates and eminent Nigerians. In an address, the visitor of the university, President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of State for Education, charged various universities to design programs that would assist the federal government in creating employment opportunities and realization of its development goals. Chancellor of the University and Ooni of Ife, His Imperial Majesty Oba Adeyeye Enitan Babatunde Ogunwusi, conferred the first degrees and diploma as well as the higher and honorary degrees on the graduates and eminent Nigerians who were presented by the Dean of various faculties of the university.
And all the graduates of high degrees and diplomas and honorary awardees never to relent in being good ambassadors for this great university.
The Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Alhaji Muhammadu Saad Abubakar III, was conferred with an honorary degree of Doctor of Law, while the former governor of Abia State, Dr. Oju Zokalo, as well as the chairman, Zenith Bank PLC, Mr. Jim Ovia, bagged the honorary degrees of Doctor of Public Administration and Doctor of Business Administration.
40 years later, I am formally and officially being given the honorary degree of this great university to make me a stronger lion.
We are going to build a conflict resolution center.
This honorary doctoral degree of Business Administration honoral cast.
8 retired professors of the university who met the needed criteria were conferred with the status of emeritus professors of the university.
This is for your information. I feel certain that it will come as good news to the target group. It is about providing and accessing published educational materials in the correct format for the blind in Nigeria. Some people somewhere are doing something about it in Lagos, and Jane Ojukwu was there to see it.
For a typical blind or visually impaired person in Nigeria, the odds in acquiring education is very high in comparison to the visually sighted. This is because, apart from stigma which makes some parents hide their affected offspring from the society, schools that cater to the needs of people with special needs are very few compared to the number that needs them. Having access to educational materials such as published literary works which facilitates learning has also proven to be a nightmare for this group of people who need them in specialized format.
When I was in school, it was a bit difficult because those books are not accessible. Now you can go to any book shop and pick up, say, a book, maybe The Gods Are Not to Blame in print, and read. But a blind person cannot walk into that same bookshop because maybe in that bookshop they don't have braille books. You don't understand. So it's not very easy.
Very few materials are made accessible to blind people in schools.
When we talk of accessibility, especially to the blind and other reading disabled persons, is very minute or almost nothing.
At a national conference on quality education held recently in Lagos, the plight of the blind and the visually impaired in respect to access to published materials in appropriate format was the focus.
Any humanist should be interested in ensuring that those who are visually impaired but are not incapacitated otherwise are able to gain access to sources of knowledge.
With Nigeria recently acceding to the Marrakesh Treaty, which gives her rights to reproduce published literary materials uploaded by member countries, it is expected that this will impact positively and improve access to educational opportunities for this segment of the society.
That when you've domesticated this treaty into your national legislation, you will have access to a huge number of digital works
How do you do that?
from the UK, for example, and from Canada and Australia.
We've spent about 27 billion naira so far in procuring books and journals for libraries in universities and polytechnics and colleges of education.
Observers urge the federal government to consider the visually impaired while equipping national and other public libraries to improve access to educational materials for the blind.
We must laud all those who are sacrificing so much to ensure standard education for the blind, as willing others to join in. Now, if you tell a lie to cover up a wrongdoing, you will definitely tell another lie to cover up that lie, and the string of lies continue. Where telling of lies happen on a broad scale, rules and regulations degenerate, leaving everyone wondering how and when things got so bad. Anyway, in this report, Mohammed Abdulkadri in Lagos examines how telling of lies can impede positive change.
If you believe change begins with you, you should try not to lie.
In Nigeria, citizenship education, orientation, and integration of the young ones into adulthood and the larger Nigerian society frowns at lying. Lying, therefore, at personal, interpersonal, family, community, and state levels portend the loss of societal ethics and values that call to question national integrity.
It is no longer seen as a moral issue. They don't even bother about whatever happens. Anybody that feels that he should tell lie, we just tell it and just go away. The moral perception is no longer there.
It therefore stands to reason that the phenomenon of lying permeating all strata of our national life constitutes a clog in the wheel of progress.
People lie about their age, maybe so that they lengthen their length of service.
The change mantra of the present administration should rub on serial liars, shortchanging and sabotaging national interests.
Look at the impact on the image of Nigeria. Even when people want to travel now with the passport, they say, don't let him go.
white, brown, or black lies, if there is anything so branded by such description, being adopted by professional liars as survival strategy is pure and simple a form of corruption.
Since change begins with me and you, respondents say branded lies wearing the toga of corporate or official lies should be killed before it killed the system.
So lying has a very, very serious effect, on service delivery in the public service.
Assigned to a certain duty, if you are lying there, it will affect the job.
Lying has become a lifeline and professionalized as means of smiling to the banks at the expense of unsuspecting members of the public, patronizing fake consumable and non-consumable products.
There are so many marketers or so many industries that will incorporate lies into what they have on sale. For instance, the issue of drugs.
Lying, to say the least, has been socialized and thriving on social media platforms.
Like when one of my friends was telling me that, let's go to Lekki, I'm doing my housewarming. And when we got there, it wasn't his house, it was his friend.
Respondents say leaders and the led, religious leaders and adherents, teachers and students, and indeed every Nigerian should stand up against the social vices in the country, especially lying, to restore national values, ethics, and integrity.
If I may ask, by way of introducing gender dimension to the issue of social menace of lying, which of the sex has the propensity for lying, male or female? Becky, what is your take on this? And don't you think this is an issue for another time on Newsline?
Of course, it would make a great package. We love a good battle of the sexes. So get to work, Mohammed. And about who tells the best lies. If I say it's the men, people will say I'm lying. Therefore, I won't say men are liars. I would rather move on. Now, it's a global issue, yes, violence against women. That is why the United Nations put one day aside annually to drive home why violence against women must be eliminated. Of course, government, human rights groups and civil societies are in the forefront championing this cause. In Lagos, a series of activities have been lined up to span over 2 weeks, marking the day, which was the 25th of November. Imeodori was sent to attend one of the activities, and in the report she compiled, you will get to hear some shocking revelations as told by advocates and victims.
That song is a cry to end all forms of violence in the society. This is because reports on this practice of human rights violation globally is alarming, with new cases on a daily basis. Attention of the world has been shifted to this challenge with massive campaigns. For 16 days, starting from the 25th of November, activities would hold globally to speak for the elimination of violence against women. This gathering in Lagos was one of such.
The one that is terribly worrisome and heartbreaking is the fact that day in, day out, we have mind-boggling revelations of young ones that are being raped.
Betsy Abba and Bola Tito Obaigbo are advocates for the rights of women and girls in Nigeria.
We all need to be involved. So when you see signs, please cry out and let these women seek help before it's too late.
And young people are not getting enough information, enough sensitization that will equip them to prevent cases of sexual abuse.
Princess Olufemi Kayode is a sexual assault survivor.
I know that I just knew about sex for as long as I can remember. So I don't know where the influence came into my life as a child. It also got me into also victimizing other children.
The director, United Nations Information Center, Lagos, says a zero-tolerance policy should be adopted with continuous awareness campaign as strategy against gender-based violence.
43% of Nigerian girls are married before 18. The more we talk about it, the more the legislators talk about it and do something about it, we will eliminate it.
But how can this fight be won?
We need to give children assurances that when they do speak up, there is a catchment net that will support them.
No one must clean up. It must be reported. We must never taunt anyone.
Once cases are taken up and the government, the society, the victims all team up to pursue the cause of justice and ensure that the person is tried, is sentenced, I think potential rapists, the potential perpetrators will be kept at bay.
If you're abreast of current happening, you would know that there's a twist to this challenge, as women are now the ones assaulting their spouses, with some cases leading to death.
We've had cases. We have Oyelawa. We have the case of Lawrence that was stabbed to death. We have had cases to even settle dispute between a 95-year-old husband who beat up the 88-year-old wife.
Violence, many say, is gender blind, but with a uniting force, the fight against gender-based violence can be won.
Violence against women or domestic violence in general is always topical. People need to handle themselves and live peaceably. Next up, in 2016, the Rivers State government embarked on a statewide amnesty program to disarm cultists and militants operating in the state with a view to making the state safe for all. Several armed groups, including that of a militant, notorious kidnapper named Igwedibia Johnson in Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area, embraced the amnesty and surrendered their arms, or so it appeared. 1 year later, Igwedibia Johnson, popularly known as Don Waney, is in the news again. Why? This report reveals the startling findings made at his base.
Johnson, or Don Waney, as often called, had a gang of well-armed militia before accepting the amnesty offered by the Rivers State government. The deal was simple: lay down your arms, change from your criminal ways, and receive the forgiveness of state. This was not to be, as reports continue to make the rounds of Don Waney's criminality, which necessitated the invasion of his home base by personnel of the 6th Division Nigerian Army, along with the local vigilante, OSPAC. Beyond the cache of arms, military camouflage, charms, hard drugs, and human body parts displayed after the raid of his residence in Aligo, Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area of Rivers State, Don Waney's shrine, located behind his compound, had more heartbreaking revelations to make. The shrine is in a thick forest with a pathway leading to a section of the Orashi River. Animal skeletons were the first discovery to be made before it dawned on newsmen and the company of military operatives and the local security group OSPAC that an entire portion of the shrine was used as shallow grave where human skulls, dismembered body parts, and full corpses were buried. These were excavated from graves that are less than 2 feet deep.
We are expecting and we are imagining that he is dead, and everybody will be very, very happy to see that he is dead.
This young man called Don Waney is a pharaoh to Onega people. He has killed so many people.
While there is relief that the residence of the kingpin, who was even coronated a high chief, has been overrun by security forces, the people in the area await eagerly for his eventual arrest and prosecution to rest all fears about his likely resurgence.
Is on Don Waney's trail, and any new developments on the matter will be reported here. So far, so good. We are running off nicely. But before we say our goodbyes, let's take one last break and come back for what's next. Stay on the line.
Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
When a person who otherwise had no symptoms of ailments slumps and dies, is said to have died suddenly. When this happens, the enemy is said to have done his worst. But the reality, doctors say, is that there is nothing sudden about death. It is usually the result of ailments whose symptoms are not manifested early or at all. High blood pressure falls in this category. Jane Ojukwu wants to talk about this.
High blood pressure, otherwise known as hypertension, is a condition that manifests when blood pressure readings are consistently 140/90 or higher over several weeks. Left untreated, high blood pressure can cause heart attack or stroke that may lead to what people consider as sudden death.
My senior brother, so he died maybe five years ago. They saw him on that day. He came to our village. So in the evening, we just discovered that he's dead.
He actually slept. There was no problem. But in the morning, he couldn't wake up. I saw the guy slumped in a gutter. When we got to the hospital, they said he had high blood pressure, which led to stroke. And that same day he died.
Regular checks and early detection help in the management of high blood pressure.
People should on their own buy their own blood pressure measuring kits, measure your blood pressure every day. And once you notice it's rising, please go see your doctor.
But really, how many Nigerians of 40 years and above check the status of their blood pressure regularly?
It's not regular because of our activities in Lagos State. In fact, I tell you, 24 hours is less than 24 hours when it comes to Lagos State. So.
In my organization, there's a provision that as you're coming to work twice in a month, you will just be checked at the gate.
I'm hypertensive anyway, so I do check my BP from time to time.
But why do Nigerians shy away from regular screening of their blood pressure?
If you don't have a measuring device in your home and you don't have any pharmaceutical or any hospital close by to go to, definitely to do those things are not easy.
What are the risk factors?
So hypertension is one of those. I've mentioned diabetes, low physical activity. People don't exercise enough. That's what leads to hypertension and also diabetes and so on. If they eat poorly, that's also the upstream drivers.
When a person finds out that his blood pressure is high, he becomes apprehensive, believing it's a death sentence. Is high blood pressure a death sentence?
It's not fatality. If people are detected on time and treated, it should have to be fine.
We need to pay particular attention to prevention of high blood pressure, to treatment by those who have it, and of course to managing the complications well.
Regular screening and healthy lifestyle, experts say, are key in the prevention of high blood pressure and related complications that sometimes cause sudden death.
Like you heard, pay attention to your well-being, go for regular medical checks. No one needs to die suddenly. And this is where we say our goodbyes. We'll step aside for now, but not before we say thank you for staying on the line all the way. You're such great company. Let's do this again come Sunday next week, God willing. And have I said welcome to December? We are all most welcome. Good night and God bless Nigeria.
For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA. You can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.